products. But the first thing I wanted to do is just to let you know that for those that are watching tonight, we're going to talk about the SENA products, and going to talk to you a little bit about some of the options that we have as riders in the communications realm. My opinion of the 50S series, which is SENA's newest portable mount that mounts on the side of your helmet. We're also going to discuss the new SENA Outrush Modular Helmet that has been released. And so we've got quite a bit in store there as we discuss that. I also want to talk about summer rides that maybe you've had, good or bad, what your experiences were with it. And so if you are watching live tonight, if you just want to make a comment, just posting "I'm here," that'll come across, and I'll be able to see your comments. If you've got a comment or a question about one of the products that we discussed tonight, I'll be glad to answer that to the best of my ability. I just want to say tonight that, of course, this is North American Rider Magazine, and we have riders of all sorts that are following. Tonight we are broadcasting on the 2018-2020 Honda Goldwing Riders group, and so that's just a group that I manage. I ride a 2018 Honda Goldwing, so the software we're using only limits me to certain groups that I manage or I'm an administrator of, so that's why we're broadcasting on this channel or this group tonight. Let me just say that even though I may talk about Goldwings a lot because that's my baby, our magazine is currently geared towards all brands of bikes, and if you ride a V-twin, in particular a Indian or a Harley Davidson, one of our advertisers in the magazine is Love Jugs, and we've done an article on it. In fact, we've done actually 2 or 3 different articles on the Love Jugs cooling system. It's an auxiliary cooling system for your bikes, and it really works. We have installed it on one of our staff, one of our authors put it on his Ultra Classic and rode clear across the country with it, I think out to Colorado and back from Georgia. And what an amazing difference. He was not sold on it when he put it on his bike, but once it was installed, he said he'll never ride without it again. So I just want to give them a little plug there tonight. We don't make anything off from that. That's just a plug that we're putting in there. I also want to go ahead and just bring up the fact that the new issue of North American Rider Magazine will be out next week or by the end of this week. And the cover here, if I can point to it and get my directions right here, the cover, many of you may be familiar with Traction Dynamics and Mac McAllister. When the new Goldwing first came out, he wrote a bunch of comments and posted videos on YouTube about the suspension of the new Goldwing not really being all that it was cracked up to be. And he took a lot of heat for that, and I kind of raised my eyebrows and questioned, has he got some points here? I had the opportunity to sit down with Max twice, once at Wingding last August, a year ago, and I've been to his shop once to sit down and interview with him, and I actually was over to his shop while he was in Colorado mountain biking, and I got a tour of the shop. And so there's a whole article that will be in the magazine about Max and his business there. And you know, a lot of you may think that he is strictly Goldwing suspensions. That is not true. Gold Wings actually only make up about 30% of his business. The rest of his business is Harleys, Indians. He even does Can-Am suspensions. So um, he makes suspensions for every brand of bike that's out there. So with that, let's go ahead and jump on into the SENA products. And Sam, I hope that's better. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry if we had a glitch in the program there where it automatically set it to mute, and one of you just notified me that there was no sound. So I think we've got that fixed now. So the whole time I've been blabbing, you haven't heard a word that I said. And let me just say that I think we've covered everything, but I was talking about the new modular helmet, the Outrush, that SENA has introduced. My wife and I ride totally in the modular helmet. And so this is the new helmet from SENA, and fully integrated with their communication system. It's got the sun shield in it, and I was saying that I believe that SENA has hit a market that will be very interesting to several people. So now that we've got sound and we're live, hopefully this is coming across. So anyway, back to the SENA 50S. I've done 2 or 3 teaser broadcasts about the 50S. I've been a guest on Chris Caliente's live broadcasts that he's done, as we've discussed the difference between are we muted on the sound again? I think we've got it back. It says it's recording. But as I was saying, we've been on with Chris Caliente, and we've talked about the 50S versus the 30K. And when the 30K first came out, there were a lot of problems with it. Snap, crackle, pop. People were complaining, especially if they were trying to videotape. It seemed to be a lot louder. There was a lot of problems with the mesh network, which allows multiple users, as long as they were using the 30Ks, they were able to join all in one group. And if you separated from the group, you lost communications with the previous versions. The 30K supposedly eliminated that, allowing you to come back in and mend back into your group and pick up where you left off, so that you didn't have to stop alongside the road and recalibrate to get everybody back in. So the 30K was supposed to eliminate that problem, and it worked, but there were a lot of issues with it. A lot of people complained. A lot of people actually left the SENA group due to the fact that there were issues with it. And so SENA came out with the new 50S. They promised that this would take care of the issues, and from what we have seen in using the 50S's, they made good on their promises. Now, if you had a 30K and were trying to communicate with the 50S, it didn't work. Didn't work in mesh, didn't work in Bluetooth. You had to download the new upgrade that SENA has put out on their website for free. And once you upgraded the systems, then they would talk to one another. And it's gone well, at least from the standpoint of our testing here. So if anybody out there that's listening, if you have used the 50S, I would be interested to hear and see your comments. Have you had good luck with them? Are they continuing to give you the snap, crackle, and pop? We've had some days where we get the snap, crackle, and pop, and what I found is I think it's more that we're riding with our shields up, and it's the wind causing the snap, crackle, and pop more than it is the actual unit, the communicator set. The 30K, trying to communicate with the 30K, what we found is that if you actually put the antenna up on the unit, it's much clearer. And if both of you have it up, it's almost crystal clear. But with it down even with the new upgrade for the 30K, it was still getting a little bit of noise that you wouldn't expect. Let me just say that using the two, if both of us use the 50Ks, there seems to be no problem whatsoever. Switching over from Bluetooth to the mesh network between the 30K and the 50S, that seems to eliminate every issue. So there's definitely some challenges when you're trying to connect them if you don't have the upgrade done on the 30Ks. So the unit itself is very similar. It looks almost identical to the 30K. We discovered it does fit the same mount. There were some questions about the pin configuration down on the bottom being a little bit different. Would it actually could you use the headset from the 30K? And yes, you can. It does work, which was also, I believe, the headset for the 20S series. Now, I will say that the new headset and microphone that comes with the new 50S is a higher quality. I think they call it a high-def headset. The quality is much better in the headset with the new headset that comes with the 50S. So I'm just reading some posts that I'm getting here. I've gotten a couple messages saying they're having problems with the sound. Can somebody? We've got a few people here that are live with us. Can somebody just send me a quick text and just say whether the sound is working or not, or I mean a comment down below. Are you able to hear the audio okay on this? And we'll go from there. I think the meters are indicating the sound is working, so I just want to make certain that is the case. So again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the 50S versus the 30K on the headsets. And again, it's been an ongoing discussion for a few months now. They've been out about 3 months, I believe, and so we've done our test with them. Very pleased with them overall. I'm not saying that there aren't issues. I think anytime a new product comes out, you're always going to have some issues you need to work with, but they're very, very minor issues. And it's more the connection between the previous release of the 30K and the 50S. So now let me ask you, for those of you that are watching, let's close this up and get this out of the way. For those of you that are watching, have you been riding any long distance trips this summer? I'd like to hear and hear from you as to have you been riding any long distance at all? Have you been mountain riding? Have you been on a ride that's been super good? Have you been on a ride that maybe gave you fits and that you wouldn't recommend for people to go on that ride? And I'm not talking about issues with your bike or mechanical issues or something like that. I'm actually talking road conditions or the fact that it wasn't a good trip at all. I'd be curious to see and hear your opinion on that. For me personally, I've I'm trying to think what long distance ride I did. I've done a couple. Of course, in March, I rode down to Daytona Bike Week. That was about a 12-hour ride. It was a great ride down, great ride back. Uh, of course, Daytona got canceled in the very last weekend of the rally due to the coronavirus. So that aspect, it wasn't that great, but um, we had a good ride going down. Then I did another ride here about a month ago um, from central Alabama over to the North Georgia mountains. That was about a 300-mile ride. So that's about all the riding I've really had the chance to do this summer. But I know several of the people that I've talked with have actually been out and um, done some long distance riding. And I'd be interested to hear from you as far as your experiences. So you can drop us a comment. You can PM me. As always, I'm looking for people that are willing to share their stories so that we can publish them in the next edition of North American Rider magazine. So I this is the first live broadcast we're doing, and if you see me looking off to the side, I'm watching the monitor, watching to see if the sound is actually working, if it's muted, just what the situation is here, because I'm concerned because I've gotten a couple text messages saying that the sound was not working. So if you're watching live, if you can just let me know if the audio is working, you'll help us get this established and good to go for the next live broadcast we do. So I'd be interested to hear what you've got. So I just want to recap. We're not going to stay on too much longer tonight. Just trying to get things worked out here and as far as the different sounds, getting set up, does it look right, and all the odd stuff. But so we've covered the SENA 50S and the new modular helmet, and they said that when I held this up, we lost some of the sound and the volume on it. So we've covered the SENA Outrush Modular Helmet this evening. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great addition to the SENA lineup, and SENA products are an excellent source. Of course, you got Cardo out there, which is equally as good. Some people like one brand better than the other, but you know, like I said, we've worked with SENA for about 8 years, and they've done us a good job. So, and then we covered and finished up on the SENA 50S, which, in my opinion, is a very, very good add-on side unit that attaches to the side of your helmet, gives you the communications. The big thing is it's got the Mesh 2.0 networking capability built in. I think it's upwards of about 30 riders can all join in at the same time, talk at the same time, talking to one another, and I think that's a good thing. So with all that being said, let me just remind you again that the issue of North American Rider magazine will be out at the end of this week. Story covering traction dynamics with Mac McAllister. It was very interesting to do the interviews with him and to find out a little bit about his company, how he started, Everybody seems to think that he's strictly for gold wings, which is not the case. Uh, Very interesting. In fact, the gold wings are only about 30% of his business. He's got a beautiful machine shop there that we talk a little bit about in the upcoming article. So keep your eyes open for the next issue of North American Rider magazine. So with that being said, let me just say that excuse me, I'm just reading some comments here. With all that being said, I hope that you've enjoyed tonight's live broadcast. I hope to make it better as we get used to doing these. I think I've done one or two that weren't live. Going live is definitely a lot harder than just videotaping a program and going from there. But at any rate, I appreciate your joining us this evening, taking the time to be with us. Look forward to the new magazine at the end of this next week, and we will be scheduling another live event down the road, and we're going to try to do one of these maybe once every 2 weeks, and then possibly as we get going and I get used to it and I'm not fumbling through this, we'll try to do one a week. But thank you for bearing with me. I can't emphasize that enough. I didn't realize how hard doing a live broadcast would be, but it is. And, now I'm kind of talking, just talking about different stuff and rambling. So again, this is Eric with North American Rider Magazine saying thank you for joining us tonight, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon, sometime next week. Next week I'll be in Florida, so we'll try to do a broadcast from Florida if we can. So again, thank you for joining us, and good evening.